Hi guys, and welcome to the Aging Games. You probably clicked on this video because you have a big curiosity to learn more about dry fasting. Perhaps you've been doing different kinds of fasts already, water fasting, juice fasting, things like that, and now you want to learn about dry fasting. So you've come to the right place because I'm going to be answering the most frequently asked questions about dry fasting. So hopefully this video will provide you with everything that you need to know. Now, I've been fasting for many years, over 30 years now. I used to do a lot of juice fast. I've done the master cleanse. I've done water fast. I've done videos about all of these different things, about OMAD, 1 meal a day, intermittent fasting, fast mimicking diet, also protein sparing modified fast. So there are lots of different ways to fast, and probably the most extreme way is dry fasting. So this is not where you want to get started on your first fast. It's definitely not with a dry fast. This is something that you build up to. So right now I'm almost 48 hours into a dry fast, which I started on Sunday, and it is now Tuesday. And I'm going to be having my first sip of water with you guys. So cheers. It actually tastes really good. It feels amazing. Now, let's get started. The first question is, what is dry fasting? So basically, dry fasting is very simple. It's the absence of any kind of liquids. You're not taking in any water, and you're not eating any food. So you're basically consuming nothing. And I know this sounds very extreme, and it is for a lot of people. But like I said, it's something that people do after they've had many years of experience with water fasting. And if you think about it, dry fasting is not that foreign to our bodies, because every night while you're sleeping, 8 hours, 9 hours, however many hours, you are in fact dry fasting. So if you want to get into a little bit of a longer dry fast, then you can just stop drinking earlier in the evening and prolong it in the morning. So not have a beverage right away when you wake up. That would be like an easy way to do like a 12-hour dry fast to get started. Now, the next question is, what is the difference between dry fasting and water fasting? So that's basically pretty much the same thing what I just explained. With water fasting, you are consuming water, and some people will encourage you to drink as much water as possible. I don't do that. I still listen to my body, and I only drink water even on the fast when I'm thirsty. I don't force the water, so I don't have like a 3-4 liter requirement that I drink every day. But with dry fasting, you're completely off any kind of liquids, anything, and you're not consuming anything. So that's the basic difference between the two. From my personal experience, I actually find dry fasting easier. The reason being is that when you're water fasting, you are very hungry for the first 3 days. It takes about 3 days for the hunger to shut down. So those are quite challenging, even for someone who's been fasting for many years. But I don't find this problem with dry fasting at all. So when I'm dry fasting, I'm actually not thirsty and I'm not hungry. So I find it much easier. The longest that I've ever done is 3 days. So I haven't gone beyond that. I know there are clinics. There is a Dr. Sergey Filonov from Russia, and he does regular retreats in Serbia. And also I saw now in Montenegro, he's doing retreats, and he's doing supervised 12-day dry fasts. He also has some books on dry fasting, lots of information on the internet. So if you want to learn more, definitely do check him out. But you know, to do a longer fast like that, you need medical supervision. This is not something that you want to do on your own, so do keep that in mind. Now, what are the different ways to dry fast? So basically, there are two different ways to dry fast. One is a hard dry fast, and a hard dry fast entails not having any contact with water at all. That means that you're not drinking, but you're also not bathing, you're not washing your hands, and you're not even brushing your teeth. So that's really extreme. And I know a lot of people who do it this way. If you're in those groups and forums, you will see that a lot of people, when they do it, they want to do it hard. And the reason being is that water will absorb through your skin. But you know, this takes a long time. For example, in a bath, you'd probably have to be in there for about 10-15 minutes before your body starts absorbing the water. So, which brings me to the other type of dry fasting, which is not the hard, but the light dry fasting, which you're not drinking water, but you are allowed to bathe, to shower, you're allowed to brush your teeth, to wash your hands after using the bathroom. What a treat, right? So it's a more lenient way of dry fasting. It's not so hardcore. And if you're curious about which one I'm doing, I'm bathing, I'm brushing my teeth, and it actually feels really amazing to brush your teeth when you're fasting and you're not eating, you're not drinking anything, you've got this gross taste in your mouth. So brushing my teeth or even rinsing it out with some natural mouthwash can be really nice, and then your breath is fresh for like a few hours afterwards. Now the next question is how to prepare for a dry fast. There are different ways and there's different schools of thought. You know, some people really believe that you have to prepare slowly and gradually to go into any kind of fast, including a dry fast. And other people just believe you can just pretty much jump in. I think the most important thing to do is to make sure you're consuming enough water leading up to the dry fast, so that will kind of carry you over. So make sure you're drinking enough water the day or the night before you would start. Some people will tell you to have lighter meals and to prepare slowly. But like I said, I think, you know, when we were cavemen, think back to that time when we didn't have food all the time and we didn't have water all the time. And definitely the cavemen were not walking around with water bottles, hydrating, drinking their 2-3 liters of water a day. That was not happening. So what was happening instead, you know, we were hunting. When we would catch a prey, then we would eat, we would feast. And then after that, it could be days before we have another prey again, or another meal again. And it could be days before we drink again. So I think our bodies were used to just feasting, drinking when there was a source of water around, and then going for longer periods without drinking or eating anything. So I think our bodies are used to that. I don't think it's a big problem. So for me, because I fast so often, I don't really do any long preparations or anything like that. I just kind of decide, like on Sunday, I had a big meal and I said, okay, now is a good time to jump into a dry fast. So I just decided to do a 24-hour dry fast, and I felt great last night. So I said, okay, I will continue and do another 24 hours. So here I am 48 hours later. Now, the next question is, what are the benefits of dry fasting? If you're here and you're listening to this video, then you've probably done different kinds of fasting and you already know all the benefits of water fasting, for example. But with dry fasting, first of all, they say 1 day of dry fasting is the equivalent of 3 days of water fasting. Now, I don't know if this is true or not true, but definitely there are many benefits to both. Now, the first thing is autophagy, which is a big buzzword now. And autophagy became famous because so many people started fasting, or well known because so many people started fasting. And autophagy is what happens when you're fasting for a longer period. This probably happens quicker when you're dry fasting. And what happens is your body starts clearing out damaged cells from your body. So it basically starts eating up these damaged cells, these pathogens, everything that it wants to get rid of that is not useful to your body is deleted through your body through autophagy. So this process is definitely induced by fasting, and dry fasting helps this a long way. So that's why people who are sick or suffering from infections or like an abscess and things like that, and they can easily be helped through dry fasting. According to Dr. Mindy, whom I've been following for many years, she's a specialist in fasting, all kinds of different fasting, and this is what she has to say. After a dry fast, people have decreased blood glucose level and increased insulin sensitivity. She also goes on to mention the benefits that dry fasting has on bone health, and as it prevents osteoporosis, which is huge for us ladies, right? Because we want to maintain strong bones. And it's also really important because so many people are suffering from diabetes, from insulin resistance. So if this can reduce our blood glucose level, that is really, really cool. And I measured mine this morning and it was 4.4. So the dry fast is certainly beneficial for that. Some people dry fast to lose weight, and they might be cycling in and out of dry fasting. They might do 1 or 2 days a week to just keep the weight loss going. And I've seen some really, really amazing results with dry fasting, and people lose weight a lot more quickly. Of course, you're losing water as well, so that's another reason. But while you're losing water, you're also getting rid of a lot of inflammation in the body, which we don't want. So it can actually be a good thing for a lot of people, especially when you're retaining a lot of water. The next common question is, should we exercise during a dry fast? The simple answer for me would be no. Like, I wouldn't do any strenuous exercise. I do exercise when I'm water fasting. I feel like I do have the energy for that without any issues. But when you're dry fasting, it's a little bit different. I'm happy to walk. I like walking during dry fasting. I like doing some yoga, some stretching. So I think lighter exercises are fine. I wouldn't go and do kickboxing, or I wouldn't go in the gym and do any kind of cardio. I wouldn't run or anything like that, just light stuff. But it also depends how long you're dry fasting for. So if it's a longer dry fast, then definitely not. If you're doing 12, 15 hours or something like that and you still have a lot of energy, then it should be fine. But as always, listen to your body. If you're not feeling well, if you're feeling dizzy, lightheaded, headache, anything like that, then don't push yourself. And I always think that fasting is a time to rest, to reflect, to meditate, to turn inwards. And fasting is not a time to be running around, going crazy and stressing yourself out, because fasting is already a big stress on the body. So you don't want to put any extra stress. Instead, you will need to relax, calm down, play some nice relaxing music, try to get a good night's sleep, a nice hot bath. Those things are a lot more important than exercise for these couple of days. Now, the next question is, how long should you dry fast for? And like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this will be different for everyone. If you're not used to dry fasting, or if you're not used to fasting at all, then please don't dry fast. Start with water fasting and work your way up to dry fasting. Water fasting, fasting is like a muscle. You need to build your muscle. So even water fasting, you do 24 hours, 36 hours, and you slowly build your way up. And then you gradually could move into dry fasting, provided that you have, your doctor's okay for doing this. It's really important, guys, because, you could be dealing with different health conditions. If your body is very toxic, then dry fasting might not be for you, because you're going to be releasing toxins very quickly and it can make you very sick. So, we have to be really careful. Just because you see something on the internet and it's this new fad and everyone's doing it, doesn't mean you have to jump on the bandwagon. You have to do it safely. So as far as for how long to do it for, once you've, done water fast and you've done like maybe a 12-hour dry fast and you've tried a 24-hour dry fast, me personally, I wouldn't go beyond like a 2-3 day fast without supervision, especially if you have any kind of health conditions. Don't do it at all. But it's really nice to see that there are clinics like this that can provide you with a supervised fast, like with Dr. Sergey Filanov, or there are lots of water fasting clinics around. So it's, especially when you're first getting started, it's really good to have it supervised. So don't do it on your own, and don't risk your health. It's really not worth it. Now that brings us to the next question, which is, who shouldn't dry fast? So who is dry fasting not for? As I mentioned before, if you're very toxic, if you're taking a lot of medications, you're coming from a not so healthy diet, like a standard American diet, you're eating a lot of junk food, you're drinking alcohol, you're smoking, you're subject to a lot of environmental factors and toxins, and your body's toxic, and your body's toxic, and this because you feel it. You're carrying a lot of extra weight, you're carrying a lot of inflammation, you're getting a lot of headaches, you have a lot of skin conditions. If you're dealing with a lot of issues, then dry fasting is not for you, okay? With dry fasting, your body starts dumping toxins so quickly that you can easily get sick and end up in the hospital. So don't take any chances at all, okay? So if you're very toxic, you're not healthy, dry fasting is not for you. If you're pregnant, dry fasting is definitely not for you. If you're young, it's not for kids, it's not for young people at all. I don't think this is necessary or needed. And if you're ever in doubt, don't do it, or only do it supervised. This is really important. And that brings me to my last question, how to break a dry fast. And as I mentioned before, I don't do a lot of preparations, and because my lifestyle and my diet is so healthy, I don't have to go through these days of, gradually going back to eating, to my normal way of eating. Now, how I'm breaking the dry fast right now, here's my drink. And I've got some probiotics in here, and I've got this hydrating supplement in there as well. I'm drinking this. This is what I usually drink in the gym as well. So this is going to help hydrate my body. I'm going to start sipping the water very slowly. So when you finish your dry fast, you're not going to go and pour down 2 liters of water down your throat, because that's going to be very dangerous. You need to start sipping the water. You can start sipping some lemon water, some warm lemon water if you like, or just, you know, keep it really simple. And for the first few hours, do nothing but sip water. Don't start eating yet. Also, when you finish a dry fast, it can be a good time to transition into doing a water fast. Like I really like combining fasts. For example, I'll do like 2 days dry fasting. I'll follow it with like 2-3 days water fasting, and then I'll finish with a protein modified fast where I'm only eating protein for a couple of days. And then I have, like, for example, 1 week of fasting, but different fasting throughout that fast. So that for me is, I like the variety and I like the different effects. And I also find the transition, like, because when I'm dry fasting, I'm not hungry, so it's easy to do. And then from that to transition into a water fast is very easy because I'm not going to be hungry and the water is going to be very satisfying for me. And after the water fast, I'm really not hungry. So to go into a protein modified fast, which I have videos about all of these, so guys, please check out my channel. During a protein modified fast, I'm also not going to be hungry because I'm very satisfied. I'm getting some protein and I'm not hungry, and it's much easier to do it this way than to go from your normal diet to jump into a protein modified fast, for example. So I like to combine these things and prolong these things. But if you're just doing for example, 24-hour dry fast, then what I would say is start sipping the water and do that for a few hours. Once your body gets comfortable, then start slowly eating. You know, don't have a big, huge meal. Depends on what you're eating. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you're gonna, you know, start with fruits and vegetables. If you're doing keto or a carnivore diet, then, you know, don't go to the heavy fats right away. Start with some protein or start with some yogurt or something like that, and then gradually go back to your normal way of eating, or hopefully a healthier version of your way of eating. This is also a good opportunity to make changes, and this is another reason why I really like fasting, because it always gives my body a reset, and afterwards I'm always so much more careful about what I put into my body, and I'm much better at sticking to my strict keto carnivore diet. So I really love fasting for so many reasons, and I've seen some remarkable changes in my own health, in my own body, in dealing with Hashimoto's, the eczema that I used to have on all of my hands, my feet, gone after a 10-day fast, never to return. That was a water fast. But you can check out my other videos where I share about all my different experiences. And even now, you know, just the 2 days of dry fasting, like even my vision is clearer, my eyes feel so clear, and my skin and just the puffiness is gone, and it's just a really, really amazing feeling. So those are the most common questions that I get regarding dry fasting, and I really hope that I was able to answer some of your questions. Like I said, guys, I have a lot of videos about different types of fasting, so please check out my other videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see more from me, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and really important that you hit the little bell so you get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you want to learn more about healthy aging and diets and exercise and healthy lifestyles, supplements, things like that, then I encourage you to check out my new video program, the Age-Defying video program, where I brought together 12 of the biggest experts in anti-aging, and they share all their amazing wisdom with you. So please check out that program below, and I have a coupon for you to save $50 off the purchase. Thanks so much, guys, for watching, and I wish you all a beautiful, lovely, healthy day.